be thrown out, they should not be transferred. Actually, it should not be us who today are being called to record a statement or to give information.
Now, a constitutional bill to change the general election date from August to December was defeated at the second reading stage after Parliament failed to raise a two-thirds majority that was critical to allow voting. Speaker of the National Assembly, Justin Muturi, said the motion to subject the bill to a vote was defeated because there were only 187 members present out of the required threshold of 233 members.
Cannot proceed to vote on the motion, and therefore for second reading, and therefore the motion is defeated.
For you to survive with a constitutional amendment, you must speak to the majority and the minority leadership. I mean, we are not here by default.
I have no interest, by the way, of saying, Mr. Speaker, that we must revisit this. I mean, next time another person will come.
The standing
All right. Now, meanwhile, I'd like us to talk to Dunstan Omari, a lawyer, just to give us an insight over this two-thirds threshold that needs to be met so that to enable a bill to pass. Now, Mr. Omari, thank you so much for joining us here on News Center. And of course, this issue of the two-thirds majority to have a bill passed has been a major impediment in passage of some bills. Let's talk about the Finance Bill 2018. There was an issue of the two-thirds threshold. Now, yesterday we also experienced that when it came to changing the election date from August to December.
Well, Brenda, thank you very much, and viewers of KTN. The law as it is under the new constitution, major amendments that affect the Bill of Rights, anything about the Bill of Rights, the threshold is two-thirds. The reason being that if you do not marshal two-thirds of the members of parliament, then you are passing a bill with a minority of the country. Two-thirds represent two-thirds of the whole nation. So that is why that is a constitutional threshold. It is a statutory threshold. It's a standing order threshold to avoid constant changes. A law must be a law for certain times with certainty and for a long time. If the threshold is reduced to 10 people or 15 people, we will be having amendments every day. So, Brenda, that one will not see the light of the day.
So, Mari, Kiminini Member of Parliament, who's behind the push of the change of the election date, is proposing that there's need to review that issue of two-thirds.
Dr. Wamalwa is very aware that it's not about his interest. It is about the interest of citizens. The issues that he's talking about, that is the selfish nature of politicians. They want the law to be so easy to amend so that every time they can do that. We have seen these attempts every other time. Technically, what stopped the members to come to Parliament and they beat 233, they reached 187. The members of Parliament are politicians. There is the image they want the public to see them from, and there is the reality of the selfish interest that they have. This is the second time this bill has come. David Ochieng brought it in March, it failed. Wamalwa has brought it now, it has failed. So the more they try, the more they want to apportion blame to other things. If really the feelings of citizens are that the elections cannot be held in August, then they can tell their members of parliament to change the bill. So in my own view, that attempt is cosmetic, it is parochial, it is selfish, it will not achieve the end of the problems Wanjiku is facing.
So, Mr. Mari, let's look at a situation whereby members of parliament decide to relook at that issue of the two-thirds threshold. Will it have any effect on other bills before the House?
It will. And if the members of parliament try to amend the standing orders, then definitely that matter will go for an interpretation at the High Court on the constitutionality of the amendments that they are doing. They know very well that Article 10 of the Constitution talks about participation of citizens. that is a very critical element on principles of governance of this nation. So that is the issue, Brenda, is the political image that politicians want to paint. But the reality, the courts will protect that and say two-thirds majority is necessary. For example, the question of the bill about the tax on fuel. The law is very clear that once the president, who normally has over 50+1% of the nation, if they want to amend or refuse, they must have two-thirds majority. That is a safeguard, a constitutional safeguard to protect selfishness that members of parliament would always have. So I don't think that the courts will allow that.
But Mr. Omari, let's look at this in a critical way in terms of the benefit of the common Mwananchi. Usually we refer to Wanjiko. Yes. Because the bill has the issue of the two-thirds threshold. I've always seen bills that favor Kenyans not see the light of day. The finance bill. Let's also talk about the two-thirds gender rule. All these bills have not seen the light of the day because of the issue of the two-thirds gender rule. So what is the way forward?
It is among the issues to be referended. The question why Kenyans put it that way, it is also Kenyans, not Parliament, to undo that. So the Parliament cannot arrogate itself by the minority to overturn what Wanjiku passed. It is the same Wanjiku who said that. It can only be the same Wanjiku to do it in a referendum, or if not through a referendum, through a majority of members of parliament to do that. So it cannot be the other way. For example, the gender issue, really, it is a very painful issue. Do we need to relook it? Then we'll relook it within the law. We cannot relook issues, whether they are emotive, whether they are hearted, outside the law. The law as it is must be respected.